Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So today we will take boron compounds and problems related to them. We will take questions from CSIR NET and GATE. So first and very important compound is borazine. Borazine is also known as inorganic benzene. Why it is called as inorganic benzene? Because it is isostructural, means having same structure almost that of benzene, and isoelectronic means having same number of electrons with benzene, right? Then next property is both of them are planar in nature, so we can say these are the similarities with benzene. These two are isostructural, isoplane, isoelectronic and planar in nature. Next is both are sp2 hybridized, right? So these all about the physical properties, right? But the chemical properties of borazine and benzene are entirely different. We have to first look at the structure of this borazine, right? It has this type of structure. Now this nitrogen having lone pair of electron, these lone pair can be donated in the vacant p orbital of boron, right? So the bond formed between nitrogen and boron is somewhat like dative bond. It is not a true or strong pi bond. It is not very strong pi bond. It is almost, you can say it is weak pi bonding, right? Structure like this. Then so this is the most important difference between benzene and borazine, that benzene has very strong pi bonding, but in case of borazine this pi bonding is very weak. And nitrogen, because it has higher electronegativity than boron, that is why electron density is almost located over this nitrogen, right? While in case of benzene the electron density is completely delocalized in nature, but in this case it is not delocalized completely. So this difference leads to the difference in the chemical properties of borazine and benzene. Their chemical properties are entirely different. So first important point is addition reaction. Benzene cannot easily show addition reaction, right? It needs very harsh conditions to show addition reaction, but borazine can easily show this reaction. So I can write down it like B3N3H6. So when I will add HCl in it, then what it will form, the structure is very important. So in starting we have this type of structure, and nitrogen having lone pair of electron means it has higher electronegativity, and boron is electron deficient in nature, right? So we can say that in starting it has some negative charge, it has some positive charge, but when this nitrogen will give its electron to boron to form a pi bond, its negative charge will reduce slightly. It still has partial negative charge and it still have partial positive charge. After this bond formation, this has slightly negative charge, it has slightly positive charge. It means when we add HCl in it, so this HCl will provide me H plus and Cl minus. So this H plus will combine with nitrogen, means in final structure what I will have, I can write it directly here, that this H will add with nitrogen and Cl will add with Cl will add with boron. So this point should be very clear in your mind, that where we have to add H and Cl. So what I will get here, B3N3, I have added 3 Cl, so it will form Cl3, and H were initially 6, now I have added 3 more in it, so it will become H9, right? It will give me product like this. So one basic difference is this one. These reactions are very important, right? So please try to remember all them. Then next difference is substitution reaction. Substitution reaction are very different in both borazine and benzene. If I want to add bromine, for borazine to show substitution reaction, first we have to do its addition reaction, right? Suppose I am treating this borazine first with bromine. First I will add bromine in it, so bromine will add to all the nitrogen and bromine boron atoms, right? It will give me structure like this. Then after this it will remove HBr from it, and what I will get a structure like this. But if I am doing substitution reaction in case of benzene, suppose I am taking bromine for this reaction, I need FeBr3 also for this reaction, and it will give me product like this. So these reactions are entirely different. So we are using the term inorganic benzene for borazine, but it is completely different than benzene, right? And most important use of this borazine is in the formation of boron nitride ceramics. Then next and very very important reactions are the preparation of borazine, right? This topic is very very important. So first borazine was prepared by Stock, and they use B2H6 and ammonia for this purpose, and they heat it and it will give them directly B3N3H6. But the more useful reactions are, the first reaction is the reaction of ammonium chloride with BCl3. First it will give us B3N3H3Cl3, right? Then we will use NaBH4, or we can also use LiBH4. It will give us B3N3H6, right? Then second reaction is the use of ammonium chloride and NaBH4 directly in presence of chlorobenzene as a solvent. It will give us B3N3H6 plus H2 plus NaCl, right? So these two reactions are very very important. Please try to remember that what you will get after the reaction of ammonium chloride and BCl3 in first step, you can call it as A, and when it will be treated with NaBH4, it will give you borazine, right? And in the second reaction we are directly getting this B3N3H6. Why I am telling these reactions are very very important. This A reaction, the first reaction, has been asked in GATE 2014, GATE 2007 in different forms. They can directly ask you that first when you treat this ammonium chloride and BCl3 what you will get, and when it will be treated with NaBH4 what you will get, right? Or they can ask you in this way, then first we are treating ammonium chloride with BCl3, then NaBH4, then what will be the final product. These two ways can be there. And then the second reaction is also been asked in GATE, I think in 2001, and then it is in GATE 2013, right? So these reactions are very very important. Next we have questions on same reactions from December 15 and GATE 18 also. So one more thing I want to tell you about this, that they can ask this reaction, that this one, the addition of HCl, in different way also. How? If they have given you B3N3H6 and they have added HCl, right? So you can balance this reaction by just remembering it, or you can draw the structure and then add HCl in it. I would say that this method will be more easier, right? You will remember it for a longer time. So first you will get B3N3H9 and Cl3. This will be your first product, and if this product is again treated with NaBH4, means you are doing its reduction, what you will get? You will get B3N3H12. What you have to do, simply remove these three Cl, and in place of this Cl you have to add H, right? So it will become B3N3H12 plus you will get B2H6 plus NaCl. You can balance this reaction, right? So this reaction is also very important. Then we can do our questions. The reaction of BCl3 and with ammonium chloride gives product A, which upon reduction with NaBH4 gives product B. Product B upon reacting with HCl affords compound C, which is this C, right? So this question is from this reaction. First, ammonium chloride treated with BCl3, it will give us B3N3H3Cl3. Then it is treated with NaBH4, it will give us B3N3H6. This one, right? Just this, the B will be your borazine. Now the borazine is treated with HCl, so it will give me B3N3H9Cl3. So they have written in different forms. They can the option 1 will be the correct answer. This is very obvious, but they can also write down this product in this form also, in bracket. So you have to just calculate the total number of boron, nitrogen, hydrogen and chlorine, right? So you will get your correct answer. What I am saying here is will be just applied in this question from GATE. So first they have treated ammonium chloride with BCl3 in presence of this chlorobenzene as a solvent, and then they are using LiBH4, right? So this will give me X, means it is according to this step. Instead of NaBH4 they have used LiBH4, so it will give me borazine B3N3H6. Then I will have to treat it with H2O. So instead of HCl they have used H2O. So again you can draw the structure of borazine and then you can solve this reaction. So this is our starting this is product X, and then we will treat it with H2O. So H2O will give me H plus and OH minus, and we know that this nitrogen has partial negative charge, this has partial positive charge. So H plus will go on nitrogen, I am directly writing here, and this OH minus will go on. So in this case you can count the number of OH, H in nitrogen and bromine, right? Boron. From this you can find out the correct answer, because they have not given in terms of total number of nitrogen, boron, hydrogen and OH. So you have to count by using this bracket. So answer number A will be correct, right? Then we move to boranes. So borane is in itself is very lengthy topic. So I have included here few important reactions about boranes, their structures and how we can determine the different type Wade rule, how to apply Wade rule on these boranes. I have already discussed these parts in my video on organometallic chemistry. So I will provide the link of that video, you can watch it there. I will simply give here how boranes participate in different type of reactions. So most important type of reaction is the reaction with oxygen and water, right? So this is very obvious. Then we will treat borane. I will take here simply diborane, that is B2H6. So when I will treat it with oxygen, it will react very violently, explosive reaction will be there, and it will form B2O3 and water, right? In some books you may also seen in place of B2O3 and H2O, they can directly give you H3BO3 in solid form, right? This B2H6 which is in gaseous form react with oxygen which is in gaseous form to form H3BO3 boric acid in solid form, or they can give you in form of B2O3 plus H2O, right? Then we will treat it with H2O, then it will the hydrolysis will give you boric acid and hydrogen. You can balance this reaction. So this reaction, these two reaction has also been asked in net examination, it is in December 18, that upon reacting with oxygen and water, what will be the product of this reaction, right? Then next important part is the cleavage of this borane, right? So this is the structure of borane. You all know about the bonding of boranes, that it has two center two electron bonding, as well as three center two electron bonding, that is also called as banana bonding. So I have also made a video on the structures and how to calculate numbers of electrons in boranes, so you can also watch that video. So in case of diborane, there can be two type of cleavage when we will react them with Lewis bases. The boranes are in itself Lewis acids. So when they will be treated with Lewis bases, they can show different type of cleavages. So two cleavages are possible. When we cleave this bond like this, it will show symmetrical, it is called as symmetrical cleavage, because it will form BH3 BH3 on both the sides, right? And second possibility is unsymmetrical cleavage, like this one. In this case, you will get BH2 plus and BH4 minus when you will do unsymmetrical cleavage. And when you will do symmetrical cleavage, you will get BH3. So when we will get unsymmetrical cleavage or when we will get symmetrical cleavage depends upon the type of Lewis bases you are using, right? If I have soft Lewis base, means which is larger in size, you will get symmetrical cleavage. And when you are using hard Lewis bases, means those are small in size, they will give you unsymmetrical cleavage. So I will tell you a simple way to remember that which type of cleavage will be there when we are using soft or hard Lewis bases. So soft Lewis bases are larger in size, right? So if you will do symmetrical cleavage, suppose like this, you will get BH3. We have only one space vacant here, so here I can attach my Lewis base which is larger in size. So there is only one space for larger base because it is large in size, so we can attach only one. So it is possible only when we have symmetrical cleavage. And if I am doing unsymmetrical cleavage, there are two spaces to attach this Lewis base. So it should be small in size. If it is a small in size, we can attach two, but if it is larger in size, we can attach only one. So with soft Lewis bases which are larger in size, symmetrical cleavage will be there because it is only possible with one vacant side. And when we are using smaller or hard Lewis bases, we can attach two, so it will show unsymmetrical cleavage, right? So example of your soft Lewis base is NMe3, which is larger in size, and hard Lewis base can be your NH3. We can also use different type of hard bases like OH minus. In case of soft Lewis bases, we can use bulkier size of atom like sulfur. We can use dimethyl sulfide for this reaction. That will be your soft Lewis base and will show symmetrical cleavage. So this is about your B2H6. But if you have larger size boranes like tetraborane, if you suppose have B4H10, we can draw the structure of B4H10. It is not so much difficult. But if you are using more than this size of boranes, then it will create problem for you. You can not easily determine the structure of boranes. We can draw its structure like this. So it has two center 2 electron bond, 3 center 2 electron bond, and in addition to it, it has also 2 center 2 electron bond between boron and boron, right? So in case of B4H10, when you are using soft Lewis base like you are using Me2S, you are using NMe3, then it will show your symmetrical cleavage. Symmetrical cleavage means it will show cleavage like this. We have to remove BH3. You can remember by using B2H6, that in case of B2H6 when we are doing symmetrical cleavage we will get BH3. Similarly in this case you will also get BH3 in symmetrical cleavage. This is the example of your symmetrical cleavage. Right, so if you are treating B4H10 with ANME3, then what you will get, this ANME3 molecule first attach with BH3. We have to remove one BH3 unit, so it will attach with it Me3N BH3. What is left here? B3H7. So we can attach one more with B3H7. You will get product like this. So always look at the type of species you are getting here. If you are getting BH3, then it will be symmetrical cleavage and it is only possible with soft Lewis bases. If you are using a hard Lewis base with B4H10, right, so it will show you unsymmetrical cleavage. Unsymmetrical cleavage means it will break like this. You have to remove only BH2 plus, right? So you will get BH in your final product, you will have BH2 plus. So suppose I am treating B4H10 with NH3. NH3 is soft, is a hard Lewis base, so it will attach first with BH2 plus. It is when we will get BH2 plus, and the rest moiety, that is your B3H8, it will be with minus sign, right? This is with plus sign. So this BH2 plus is electron deficient, so it will attach itself with NH3. So you will get, and here you will get B3H8 minus, right? So these all steps, all points I have discussed here, all are very important. So please try to remember it, that what will be the product in symmetrical and unsymmetrical cleavage, and when you have to apply symmetrical cleavage and unsymmetrical cleavage. So we will solve a question based on it. So this question is from, I think, December 16, that the final product of the reaction of arachnoborane B4H10 with NMe3 is or are. So now you can solve this reaction very easily. What you have to remember, you have to first look at the type of Lewis bases we are using here. So we are using a soft Lewis base. So this soft Lewis base will try to form, will try to show the cleavage which will generate a larger size moiety. We have to decide out of BH2 plus and BH3. We have to decide that which type of cleavage will be there. So because it is soft Lewis base, larger in size, so it can attach only one with our species, means we have to form BH3, means it will show symmetrical cleavage. This is the very simple way to remember this. So we have to attach our Lewis base with BH3 and the rest moiety. When we will remove BH3 from B4H10, it will be B3H7 there, and it will attach with NMe3, and in second product we will get BH3 NMe3. So these two products we will get here. So option number 1 will be your correct answer. Then next we have boric acid. So boric acid is very weak acid. When it dissolved in water, we can also write down it like BOH3. When it dissolved in water, it will form H3O plus and BOH4 minus. The pKa value is 9.2 for this reaction. It forms borate esters when it is treated with CH3OH in presence of sulfuric acid. For example, we have reaction like this. It will form this borate ester, right? And they are much weaker acid. They are very weak Lewis acids. Then if we are comparing their acidic strength with BX3 means boron trihalides, then these are much weaker than boron trihalides, because the weakest acid out of boron trihalide is BF3, and we all know this is due to the back bonding. This fluorine shows back bonding with boron, and it gives its electron to boron, right? So here we have oxygen, it will show more back bonding than fluorine, right? So it is much weaker than BF3 also, so it is very weak acid in nature. Then we have the very important property about this H3BO3, that it is very weak acid, we know that, but its acidic strength increase slightly when we use 1,2-diols. 1,2-diols like glycol, ethylene diol, right? So its acidic strength increases because it tends to form borate esters in it, and these esters are formed due to chelate effect, right? They will form cyclic ester with this. So this question is very important. It has been asked in GATE 2007 and December 2012 NET examination, that why this boric acid shows greater acidic strength in glycol. This is due to the formation of cyclic borate ester due to the chelating effect, right? So this question is also very important. Then we will move to boron nitride. We will take certain important points about important properties of this boron nitrate, because we have seen one question from GATE 2020 from this boron nitrate. So what are the important properties of it? So these are all important points, that it has planar sheet like structure. This property is similar to graphite, right? Graphite also has plain sheet like structure. Then due to its sheet like structure, it is slippery in nature, means it can act as lubricant. Then unlike graphite, it is electrical insulator. Then this property is also different from graphite. It is not in graphite. It is this boron nitride is stable in air up to 1000 degrees centigrade. Graphite is not stable in air, it is stable in air up to 1000 degrees centigrade, and that is why it is used in refractory materials. Then at higher temperature than 1000 degrees and higher pressure, it changes into cubic crystalline structure, which is analogous to diamond. So that is why it is used as abrasive. So these all are important properties about boron nitride. I have tried to include all the important properties of boron compounds. I think this video will be helpful to you, and if you like my videos, please share my videos with your friends. Thank you so much for watching.